Open enrollment for businesses with 50 or fewer employees is set to begin November 15th, but there are already snags in the system created by the Affordable Care Act. The website for the online marketplace that will offer health insurance for small businesses has defects and mistakes, which the government is scrambling to fix by the 15th. With us to sort out what owners should do is Mark Gagne. He's the co-owner and Chief Innovation Officer at Borislow Insurance in Boston. Mark is also a member of the National Association of Health Underwriters. And Michael Stahl is the Senior Vice President at Health Markets, which provides insurance solutions to individuals and small businesses. Thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, Mark, let's start with you. What is the opportunity for small businesses right now once this website launches, presuming it launches well on the 15th?
So, JJ, I think a great place for small businesses to start first is to make sure that they have a licensed broker or agent that represents them. Similarly speaking, when you go to court, you would never go to court without a lawyer. You shouldn't purchase health insurance without the advice of a licensed professional. So I would start with the National Association of Health Underwriters to find an agent at www.nehu.org.
Okay, but then, Mark, so how does this make things any different than they were before? Because if I were a small business with any number of employees, I would go find an agent who could help me get health insurance. How does this website change things for me?
I think the website gives brokers an opportunity to help connect those who have not traditionally offered insurance or have struggled with the cost of offering insurance. It provides them another avenue and another solution for them. In fact, over 70% of small businesses in this country already offer insurance, and 3/4 of them work with a broker or agent today. So what the healthcare.gov or the Shop Exchange offers is another pathway for small employers to offer health insurance to their employees.
So, Michael, do you believe that more small businesses will start offering insurance? If this is just another path, right, is it going to be cheaper? What incentive will small businesses have to offer insurance now that they didn't have 3 weeks ago?
See, JJ, we're seeing something, very different. If we step back for a second, small business owners are finding that group insurance in general really isn't working, truthfully. They're seeing increased rates significant year after year after year on their group health insurance plan of 5, 10, 20%, and they want off that treadmill. They're spending more on health insurance than they are on rent. This is not a benefits problem, it's a business problem. And the issue is that the shop exchanges by themselves are not a panacea. They're just not. They're struggling getting off the ground. They're having a hard time attracting a significant amount of insurance companies to it, so the plan offerings are more limited, and the subsidies available are also modest. Fortunately, though, JJ, the Affordable Care Act has provided a clear alternative for small business owners to continue to provide health insurance to their employees in a different way. And what we're finding is that small business owners are increasingly migrating away from group insurance and to an individual health insurance solution that's packaged as a benefits program for their employees. By doing that, they access the more significant subsidies that are on the individual health insurance marketplace, which also opens on 11/15, that on average is providing subsidies of 75% or more. The average cost of an individual health plan after subsidies is only $82 a month.
So wait, let's just back up.
If you compare that to the average group, go ahead.
Let's just back up a little and tell me what that looks like. So I am a small business owner, right? I have 14 employees. I'd like to provide health insurance. What are my options? Where am I looking?
Your options are a traditional group plan, and SHOP is sort of a different version to attack that. Again, there's some challenges with that. And your options now under the Affordable Care Act is also to provide an individual health insurance solution whereby you facilitate each employee buying insurance on the exchange, on the individual exchange. They obtain access to government subsidies, which, as mentioned, are quite significant.
What does facilitate mean? What does that look like? I pay them money that they can then use on the exchange. What does facilitate mean?
That's a great question. So just as Mark articulated, for any of these things, it's best to engage with a health insurance professional who can help you through this process. And a good health insurance agent like one in Health Markets will walk you through the economics of a group option versus an individual option. If you choose the path to have an individual health insurance solution, that broker will help sign up each of your employees. That's one. Two, the employer can choose, because there's significant savings on the employer side, many employers, good ones, choose to share some of that savings with their employees in the form of higher pay as a defined contribution in the form of a contribution to a health savings account, in the form of now contributing to alternative supplemental health insurance plans such as dental, vision, disability, and so forth. So that's how an employer can engage in a benefits program that uses individual health insurance as the anchor.
Mark, that's interesting. Do you see a lot of employees going that direction instead of the group insurance direction?
So I agree with most of what Michael said. I would just like to clarify a couple things. First, it is true that individuals can get subsidy on the exchanges. In fact, that's the only place that they're able to get subsidy. However, I would say for those employees making more than $45,000 for an individual or $88,000 for a family, those subsidies will not be available to them. So it really is highly dependent on the income you make. So that's point clarification number one. Point clarification number two would be that the law expressly says that employers are not allowed to fund individual health insurance. They certainly have the right and the opportunity to increase compensation to their employees and then hope that their employees go to the exchange and purchase insurance, but the law explicitly suggests or provides that employers are not allowed to set aside a defined contribution amount for their employees to go purchase individual insurance on the exchange.
Got it. So if I'm understanding everything, then on November 15th, when this shop exchange opens up again, this is another place for small businesses to go. And the idea is, whether this works out or not, the idea is that eventually this will be cheaper, just like on the individual insurance side. And do you guys believe that will happen? Mark, I'll start with you.
So I would say to you, the unique benefit of being in Massachusetts, as the rest of the country knows, we're 8 years ahead of the rest of the country on this.
Right.
We have not seen a large take-up in the shop exchange here. In fact, there's only roughly 2,300 employees that are on the shop exchange here in Massachusetts, and we've not seen our healthcare costs moderate. In fact, Massachusetts has the highest healthcare cost per capita of any state in the country, with the exception of Washington, D.C. So I'm not so certain that what we've seen so far suggests that healthcare costs will be, or health insurance costs would be less expensive on the shop exchange.
For the small businesses. And what about you, Michael?
Yeah, I would agree with Mark. We're not seeing, when we talk to small business owners across America, as shop exchange as the solution. Again, what we really see to a significant degree is that people want to migrate away from a group structure to an individual structure. Also, if you look at statistics out there, WellPoint, which is one of the largest Blue Cross carriers in the country, in their second quarter and third quarter earnings call, announced that they're seeing hundreds of thousands of small group members migrate away from group coverage to individual coverage. And most people in the industry think that that's going to happen to a very fast degree over the next 2 to 3, 5 years at the most. The economic advantages are just too great for both the employer and the employees.
Interesting. But in the meanwhile, the shop exchange is another thing to look at. So as you are evaluating what is the best option for your company as of November 15th, should the website come off without a hitch, and we shall see, here is another, at least computerized on a website way that you can look to see about providing insurance. Thank you both so much for coming through and sorting this all out for us. We really appreciate it.